There are a few people who changed my life. After Jesus, there was Grandma B, my husband, but this woman, my sister, my attorney, my soror, my friend, my debate partner, whatever it is, my family. I mean, our families are connected in so many ways. She taught me the importance, but not just the importance, but the strategies for passing on wealth to future generations. It was the first time I had heard anybody who looked like me talk about how the Hiltons stayed the Hiltons and how the Rockefellers stayed the Rockefellers and how the Kardashians and all those families. And so when I heard it, I said, oh, well, the Richardsons can stay the Richardsons and the Browns and the Robinsons and the Woods and the Stokes. So without further ado, I have to introduce you to, we call her the wealth counselor, literally, attorney Deidre Wood Stokes. Oh my God, Deidre, are you here?
Hey, yes. Hey, sis. So yes. So I'm all of those things that my sister, my soror, my friend, my baby sister, you want to call her whatever, my bigger sister, we have all of that knock down, drag out, but we respect one another.
Yes.
And I'm just so elated to be here.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we're always, we're moving towards the next plan, the bigger stage, the next idea. And we've been on this journey for 20 years now. Oh my goodness, over 20 years. Okay,
Over
so I met you in the 90s. Oh, so
Yes,
for real,
you
for
did.
real. Oh yeah.
Yes, you did.
The 90s
Yes,
are
you did.
everything. Hip hop,
Yes, you did.
music, friends, all of that stuff.
Absolutely. All of
So
that.
happy to have you here. We have been talking about building wealth, and we can't do it without having the conversation about identifying our power and our assets, but also protecting them. So let me just get right into it. Why are African Americans so fearful of creating an estate plan? And what is the impact when that estate plan is not completed in a timely fashion, which is now?
Right. It's because we haven't been educated at a young age on the importance of legacy planning. And so the fact that we don't talk about these things around the dinner table, we don't have certain things that are common knowledge, like, for instance, who's the attorney for the family if something were to happen? Who's this person for the family? We tend to put those things when situations arise, unfortunately, in the African American community. We usually hit the phone dial and call a best friend and say, do you have somebody you can refer me to? But those relationships haven't been created. So lack of those relationships being cultivated also limits our knowledge. And so knowledge is the power. And so what happens, there's a fear behind it. And culturally, what has happened in the African American community is that we associate death with estate planning, as opposed to looking at it as business planning. Other cultures look at it as, I am working hard. I have insurance policies. I have real estate. Maybe I just have one piece of real estate, but I want to make sure it falls into the hands of the appropriate party so that they can build on something and amass more. They don't have to start off from ground zero like myself. And so they look at it as business planning. It's nothing for other cultures to say that this child is more fiscally responsible than this child. It doesn't translate, or it doesn't mean or directly associated with how much I love one child over the next child. So the first reason is that we associate it with death. The next reason is that we feel like we're choosing people over each other, when really, if you look at your estate plan, it's everything that you own. Like, if it's a business, who would you put to be the interim CEO if you no longer can manage it, if you're not able and capable of doing so, be it because you're incapacitated or be it because you've passed away? Who would be the interim CEO, or who would be the successor CEO to manage your affairs? And what would be those qualifications for that person? We don't look at it as that. We look at it as though, oh my gosh, you're talking about dying. Oh my gosh, you're talking about being sick. And so there's this premise around it and this dark thing around it, and we need to bring light to it. And the only way we can bring light to it is that we educate people.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. We've been having this conversation, and you have gotten the attention of some mighty folks, the Good Morning America team, and, folks like that, because, when you speak, it literally is just the truth, and you make it so easy for us. I want to ask you this question. What are some of the fallacies that people have related to estate planning?
So one of the fallacies is that people believe that if I have a beneficiary for insurance policies, that it'll take care of itself. But once again, the fallacy is that you believe that those people are going to pass away in the order that you set it up.
Wow.
Because you wrote it on paper. You believe that when I pass, my first beneficiary is going to be living. And my second beneficiary is going to pass after. That's only is going to be living because that first one is. So you asked me in the first one, what are some of the impacts? I'm going to give you an example. Had a client that called me. She had a sister that had one child. They were both adults. They both had insurance policies. They only had one beneficiary for each other's insurance policy. Unfortunately, they were in a horrible accident and they both actually perished in the accident, but one perished before the other one. One actually died on the scene, but unfortunately, paramedics are unable to declare a person dead at the scene. They have to actually transport that person to a hospital, and the hospital has to declare that person has passed away in the time of death. The other person that was taken away was taken and they worked on her for a half an hour. Well, because one hospital was really busy, they knew that the person had passed already, which ended up actually being the mom of the older of the two, which is a mom and a daughter. They ended up declaring her deceased before her actual daughter. And then her daughter, who passed away truthfully before her mom. So because they had each other, what happened is because the death certificate said that 30 minutes mom had passed away, that meant that her insurance policy went to her daughter. When daughter passed away, which really it was before mom, but because the death certificate said something else and they had done no estate planning, her mom was her only beneficiary on her insurance policy. So she had simultaneously inherited her mom's insurance policies and hers also. She didn't have a second person. And the only person that was living that inherited, that would open up her estate, would be her estranged dad. So the dad inherited his child's mother's,
his baby's mama,
insurance policy, baby's mother's insurance policies, and his daughter's insurance policies. And so the family was in uproar because they had not seen this person. There had not been a relationship with him for years, etc. But at the end of the day, as I told them, gear yourself up. There is ways to correct the insurance policy, but he's going to have a fight and he's going to pay the money because he was going to amass more than $1 million from all those insurance policies. So one of the things is biblical. You and I talk about it all the time. If you fail to plan, you basically plan to fail. And you don't know what's going to happen. People don't die in chronological order, and people believe that people are going to die in chronological order because I'm 56 right now or 57, that I'm going to actually die before my children. Well, it may not happen, or I'm going to die in chronological order. That never happens. And when it doesn't happen in that manner and we don't have it set up, then guess what? We allow the law to step into place and to actually plan out for you what you failed to plan. Because see, there is a plan in place because there's laws that say how to handle it, but it's not the way you want it handled. So what you have to make the decision for yourself, and I'm going to be the control freak and control what I want, or I'm going to allow the law to control where it falls.
You know what? You just broke it all the way down. I mean, this is how people get disinherited. And what happens is they call their friends, girl, I can't believe she left the money to, no, she didn't. The money was left to the daughter. The daughter passed. So then she inherited the mom's policy and now the estranged dad. So her mom's, all her aunts, cousins, people, you know, that they would have wanted to inherit in their stead were left out. And that is so sad. And it happens all the time. Deidre, I am so tired of us either not having an estate at all or having an improper estate, which is not having an estate, and then the state does it for you, as you said. Let me ask you this last question, because you've just given us such a wealth of information. We're going to bring you back. At what age should someone begin estate planning?
I would say the moment that you have your first job. The moment you have your first job is the moment you actually have an asset, because most job benefits have some type of term insurance policy associated with the benefit, has some type of something. You might have a car at that point, we minimize what we have. And then the other thing about estate planning is estate planning generally incorporates a healthcare power of attorney. So you might get sick temporarily. And keep in mind, guys, there's a couple of things that I want everybody to understand is that usually what's the best thing to create is a trust. And a trust is called a living trust because it's in control while you're living. And it's something that could temporarily step into place if you're no longer able to manage your own affairs. So let's say you're in an accident and you're incapacitated for just a couple of months, and then you're able to handle your affairs. Your trust would say, who's going to step into my shoes and take care of those items? And that's really key and essential for single people, because single people usually don't have those things set up. All right. You could find yourself coming out of a coma or, healing after 3 months and your house in foreclosure because you didn't actually set up who would step into your shoes and do something simple like pay your car note, pay your house note. So it's also putting things in place as well, Lynn, in order to make sure that those things happen and those situations, are taken care of. And we just don't anticipate all of those things. So we always think that the fallacy is that, oh, I set it up this way because I put a beneficiary statement here. Or I told my sister that when I pass away to do X, Y, and Z. Why would you put that on somebody? Why don't you just allow people to grieve? Let people grieve as opposed to giving people marching orders that are verbal. Put it in place and take care of it yourself.
Y'all see why this is my sister? She said marching orders that are verbal. Child, you can't go nowhere with a verbal marching order. You can't. You can't go to the bank with that verbal marching order.
No.
You can't.
No, you can't.
There's no money attached to that verbal marching order. You can't do anything with a verbal marching order.
Nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing.
Okay, so we have to bring you back over and over again. Thank you so much, my sister.
Thank you, my sister, as well.
Bye.